Hello everyone, Jennifer Brooks here. I wanted to share with you one of our new stamp and thin cut set that came out with close to my heart this about a month ago. It's called the For You Darling Stamp and Thin Cut set. And you see here you get several stamping pieces. And this is a layering stamp set. So if you see here, you've got your base pieces and then you've got outline pieces that go on top. So basically each flower has two pieces to it, and the pine cone here has two pieces. And of course these little leafy pieces. And then you have a few sentiments here that you can use if you're a card maker. I love making cards, but one of my things about stamp sets is people just assume that they're for card making only, and that's just so not true. I love using stamp sets to use on my scrapbook layouts. So last week I did a couple of scrapbook pages that I had a lot of interest in, especially from some of the ladies that I scrapbook with. And sometimes people assume that the scrapbook page that I used, that was paper that I bought. But I use this in some of my in my layouts as background pieces. And I've had several people ask me if it was actually bought or they didn't realize I stamped it. So I wanted to share with you guys how I did this and created my own 12 by 12 cardstock that I could use in my papers. The cool part of stamping your own background is that you can pick the colors to match the paper you already have, which is fabulous. That way you can mix and match, add colors, take colors out. It's so cool to do. So I used the For You Darling stamp and thin cut set. The cool thing about these also is you can make the embellishments because it comes with a little thin cut, so you can cut your or stamp your flowers and then cut them out, which is nice. And I always cut out a bunch of extra pieces so that I could use them as embellishments throughout my layouts. And I always cut the extras out because even if I don't use these again in stamping like this background piece I did here, even if I don't do this again, these little flower pieces will be useful somewhere down the road. I just have a whole pile of stuff that I'd cut out with extra scrap paper that I can use later when I need it out of nowhere. You know, you never know when you need a little embellishment or two here and there. So, but all right. So I'm going to show you how to make this your own 12 by 12 cardstock. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to start with your largest flower first because it's easy to add smaller pieces in. It's very difficult to add the larger stuff because once you get everything on here and you see, oh, I really feel like it's too blank, I need a little bit more, it's really hard to add a large piece in. It won't fit quite as well as some of the smaller pieces. So I always add as much of my large stamps first. And my largest flower I did with raspberry and pixie. I actually used 11 ink pads in all because because it's a layering stamp, you're gonna want two colors for each piece. So the pixie we want for the base part of the flower because this is a lighter color. And you're just gonna get it stamped up, and then you're gonna look around and just kind of place your flowers wherever you want them. Doesn't matter, just a little bit here and there. You can see I have paper underneath so I can stamp off the paper. That's just so you can continue off the paper. It kind of looks like the design just runs off. And it doesn't matter where you put them. This is just going to be the start of it. Okay. And I'll clean these later, but I do kind of pop that for now to kind of get some of the excess off. Then you're going to take your large piece, and first you have to figure out where this was, where it lines up. And then you're going to take your darker, the raspberry, and you're just going to line it up. And you want to be kind of over top of it so you can see. So if my head gets in the view, I'm sorry. And you just stamps just like that. Look at that. It's so pretty. And you do that all the way around, back on all the flowers. And if you get off a little bit like I just did because I couldn't see, so I don't want my head in there too much, it's not a big deal because it's scrapbooking. I'm a firm believer that scrapbookers are not perfect, and you don't want it to be perfect because it's homemade. You made it yourself. It belongs, it's coming from you to somebody else or for yourself for your memories. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Again, I apologize if my head gets in there. Just can't quite see all the way over. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so there you go. That's the big flowers. And then you start taking your next flower, and I did the small ones next. The smallest, or the second smallest flower. So you need your base for this. I didn't want my fingerprint on it, so just gonna kind of push it down that way so that way I don't get my fingers in it. Okay, then you're gonna take your next color flower that you want, and I used lemon and tangerine. Now these aren't two of the same colors, but the little orange pop off the lemon is really pretty. Now I did the lighter colors next because I'm going to reuse the stamp for my blue flowers as well, and the blue is a darker flower and I don't want the blue to transfer. And you can clean the stamps in between, but sometimes that still is down the nooks and crannies. So we're going to use this little flower. Then you're just going to do the same thing again. You're just going to kind of pop it around where you like it. Doesn't matter where you put them. Let's see. Okay. And then I am going to quickly do my crystal blue because we're going to use the same stamp for this. I used two of the little ones, or the middle size, in two different colors. And I use crystal blue for this one. Oh, let's see. So hard sometimes to figure out where you want to put them. You just keep playing with it till you got everything the way you want. And if you have to go back and add in later, you can. It's not a big deal. Nope. I changed my mind. I don't want it there. Okay. So you got your two little colors, or little medium flowers. So you're going to need your medium outline. And this one's a little easier to figure out where it goes because it's got a little niche right there, where the other one's a little bit more intricate. So they can be a little difficult to work with, but they're so fun. Okay, then I'm going to take my tangerine, and we're going to, whoops, not there. Tangerine's on the lemon. I almost put it in the wrong spot. All right. And you just keep going over all the pieces. Oh, I love the yellow, the lemon, and the orange. This really is super easy to do, and the cool part is, again, you can change up the color. So if you have dark colors paper, you could get a little bit less brighter color inks and do it to match. And we have a huge array of inks. And all of the inks actually match the color palettes of our papers and stuff. So you can intermix everything. It's just a fabulous color selection. Okay, now we're going to do the sapphire for on top of the crystal blue. Oh, I gotta tell you, probably my favorite flower on this whole thing is the crystal blue and the sapphire. They're so pretty together, these two inks. I don't know why, but it's just my favorite color here. I wanted to have more of the blue flowers in, but I also knew I had to have some variety because they're just so pretty. Okay, so now you got those in there. Now, you want to be careful. I've got a little bit of transfer from the ink that got on here onto some of my pieces. I'm kind of moving fast because I want to show you how this works, but when you do it, you're going to want to be a little bit more careful because you will get some spots, like I got a spot up here. The cool part is, again, it's scrapbooking, so it doesn't matter. There's always a way to cover it up. I had a few on my last piece, and I used embellishments and other things, and I layered my papers in those places so that you couldn't even tell that they were there. But you do want to be somewhat careful because you don't want it everywhere. Okay, so for my littlest flower, I use thistle and pansy. So again, you're going to want your lightest color first. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it is a lot easier to use the blocks that fit your stamp. I just don't have the smallest block that we sell yet because I'm still pretty new to Close to My Heart. But it is a little bit easier to maneuver when you use the smaller blocks. If you have a great big huge block and only a little stamp, it's a little hard to maneuver around, but it's doable. It's just a little bit more tough. So I do recommend that you get this. It's on my list, I just haven't. Alright, you're just going to pop those around again. Be careful not to and if you do get some transfer, you just wipe it off before you stamp it, because if you don't, it will. Let's see. Where else? Okay. So, then you need your smallest piece of the little flower. Now, this flower is not quite as intricate as the bigger ones. Well, it is, but you just can't tell exactly where it goes. It's okay. You just stamp it on there. It still looks gorgeous. I absolutely love this set. I've used this stamp set so many times. I strongly suggest you get this set because there's so much you can do with it. Not just card making, scrapbooking, so many different fun ideas. Okay, so the next thing we want to add is our little green leafy pieces. Now the only thing with this one is, oh no, acorns. I almost forgot my acorns. Oh, the acorns are so cute. Or not acorns, they're pine cones. And for those I use almond and espresso. I really liked the little pine cones here because I thought they added something to it. Like, you got all these bright colors, and I thought it was really cool to bring in a little bit more brownish, subtle piece. And I chose the almond. Now these ones, like my flowers I didn't turn, but these ones I did because it does change the direction a little bit and the design by where they are flowing. So these I moved around a little bit, turning them so that the design wasn't exactly in the same place every single time or facing the same way. Oh, these are just so much fun. Nope, gonna leave it like that for right now. See, I might add some more in after. Okay, so then after you got your almond base, then we're going to use the espresso to do your outline. Oh, I just love these stamp sets. They're so much fun. And you can just see how the paper comes to life. You will cut down a little bit on the transfer if you use the smaller block sizes because you'll have less open space hitting your pad. So that's another reason to get the proper block sizes. I just really do need to get that 1 inch by 1 inch myself. You see how quick and easy this is, though? I mean, really, it is very quick and easy. It might even be a little quicker if I wasn't trying to put this in a video and show you at the same time, because I could get right over it a little bit easier. So when you do this at home, it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so look at that. Look how this paper is just coming right to life. Get your own design. Now, the last one I did, I only had fern. It's the only green I have that I liked for this layout. The other ones were just too dark. So I actually did second generation stamping to create the layered look. And I'll show you how I did that. So you're going to take your background piece. If you notice me putting it face down, then sticking it on there, it's just so I can press it on there good without putting my finger on there, because then your fingerprints get in there and it can make it difficult to stamp on there. So to get the layered look, where I had the lighter color versus a darker color, I actually first stamped off on my scrap paper and then on there, which makes it super light. And this one again, I turned all over the place because you do not want it to be flowing the same direction. Oops, I put that on there before that's what I get for talking while I'm trying to do it. See how much darker that is? You definitely want to not forget the second generation stamping. And this again, you just keep going all over, changing the direction of your stamp. and just filling in all the places you have blank spots. I did the green last, the leaves, because there's so many different places you can stick stuff, and it's kind of a small piece, so it's easy to fit into a lot of places. And it just goes all over your paper. And I think I might leave it like that. I got a little bit of transfer in a few places, but that's partly because I'm rushing. You'll just have to make sure you go a little bit slower. Oh, closing that up. I still need it. Okay, so to get the darker look, now see if you can see the difference here. That's what your darker outline is going to look like. Because on the, you did the second generation stamping on the base part, and then on this part you're going to do it directly on there, which will give it the dark outline if you see it there. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Unfortunately, this piece is not going to be able to do that because I stamped on there while I was talking without doing the second generation stamping. Now this one you're going to want to be a little bit more careful where you line it up because it's a long piece, so you want to make sure you get the stems leaf all the way down. It's very easy to miss the spot if you're not paying attention. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss it a little bit because I'm trying to do this where I can't get right in there. It's just gorgeous. I love this layout. All right, now I'm getting too rushed because I want to finish this for you. Okay. Oh, this one. All right. You can see how the paper came right to life. And again, if you feel you got some empty spaces, like right in here, I feel is a little empty. I'm trying to decide what I want to put in there because I already have a lot of flowers. You know what? I'm going to add. I think I'm going to add. If you're not sure, what I do is I eyeball it before I actually put it down. To see if I will like it there. Yeah, I definitely like, I think that's definitely will make that look just a little bit better. Oh yeah, that was just too empty for me. I did not like it. And I think that I still need oh, I do that every time. I stamp and then forget I need the same stamp set for the same one because I use the same. You probably could use second generation stamping on your flowers too. However, the green is much lighter with the second generation stamping, so your outline or your inside base will be much lighter as well. So sometimes it can be too faded, but it works perfect with this green. Okay, so there is how you create your very own background to use. Now I'm going to show you the projects I did real quick so you can see what everyone else saw that got this whole thing started. I started with this layout here. This 12 by 12 piece of cardstock ended up being cut into 2 pieces to create my double page layout. I used I took a 4 by 6 piece of white daisy and then stamped on the corners, and then I popped up a flower from this cutting out from the thin cuts to add some dimension. I cut the sweet memories out of my Cricut, and these are all 4 by 6. These are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, so I can put 4 by 6 photo mats on here. And then this piece right here, I literally took some of our, if you do not have this tape, this stuff is fabulous. Now this specific color is no longer available, but this is called our shimmer trim. There's several colors available, and it is literally tape, and it just looks like a cute little ribbon border. And I put that down to connect my little white and purple striped color with my background that I created. This, I took a piece of cardstock, white daisy cardstock, put a strip down the one side, and then cut it into strips for my journaling pieces. And then I popped up some flowers over here to kind of bring out the whole page. I love this. I'm telling you, I love this. Now, my second one that I made, because I loved it so much, I decided to make a second layout. And I did the same thing. If you can see here, it's a double page layout. I had 2 different cardstocks that I really liked, and I wanted to bring them together. So this background worked perfect because I had the pink in it and I had the purple, so it brought both pieces together fabulously. The yellow brought out my photo mats. Again, these are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, except for this piece. I think this is a 3 by 4. And this helps bring so my photo mats. So everything is all in my background piece that pulls the whole page together. And then again, I got some flowers popped up here. And then on this page I have for my title, I used the stamp set to go around the white daisy cardstock. I stamped on here with Good Times. This is actually part of our Cricut stamp sets. They actually sell, Close to My Heart actually sells Cricut cartridges that you can only get through Close to My Heart, and it comes with 3 stamp sets, and you can even use to cut down to fit the stamps. But the Good Times worked perfect here. And then up here, again, this is just a strip of the cardstock I made. And the thing is, after I cut the strip, I still felt there was a few spots missing, so I re-stamped some more things in here because it looked a little naked. Because it's hard to tell where you want everything until you've cut it. So I add a little bit more. And then this, the banners here, I actually used our thin cuts basic banner set, and it has 4 thin cut dies. I only used 3, and to get the hello and the little raspberry on the pink there, I used this banner Love Day to Day stamp set that kind of matches the thin cuts, and you can do it to add some extra banner or extra colors and pop. The hello love, I only used the hello part. I just taped over the love and stamped on the hello. And then of course this piece was white cardstock that I stamped on to bring out the backgrounds that I've created. So it was really very fun to create these pages, and I did it using some of cardstock I had lying around and drew in the pieces using the background pieces I added myself. So super fun. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you create your own fun layouts. If you do create them, I'd love to see them. Post a picture in our group. Um, but again, just so you have the correct stamp sets, the For You Darling stamp and thin cut set. There's a couple others that they have too as well that I can't wait to work with, but I've really had a lot of fun with this one because it's so pretty. But okay, thanks for watching, guys.